You know, it's a good day when the experts are concerned. It means that people are having fun. It's like if you were to hear that the soccer moms are concerned. Oh, that means that the children are out at the heavy metal concert or something and they're having fun. Yes, the hall monitors are concerned. I love the idea of experts. Like, what happens when they're wrong? What is the consequences? Nothing. Oh, I'm pretty sure they do a fine job then. Like, I'm pretty sure any type of job where there's no consequences for failure is going to create some decent, upstanding, and moral people. And also the concept, experts for online safety. My God. Such a mouthful, isn't it? So, what takes. So, in a world where the government opens the prisons during a pandemic, releasing God knows how many criminals on the streets and causing an increase in crime wave, there are no experts for that because that is in real life. Like, who cares about real life? If you have some burglar coming into your home, that's a you problem. But online, well, I mean, online is more important because now it affects the politicians. It can affect how people think about politicians letting criminals go in the street. So now we need the experts. Which begs the question, though, like, how do you become an expert? Do you walk the path of the Shaolin monk? Do you train? Like, why are the experts coveting the power? Like, if they are capable of assessing what is fact and what is misinformation, if they are capable of withstanding the brunt of racism, like, can you imagine this? Like, they have to face the horrors of edgy jokes on a daily basis, and yet somehow they manage to be fine. You know, like, if you send a person in space, like an astronaut, I believe the maximum number that he can stay there is about a year. After that, he has to return to Earth because his body just can't handle the new environment. Like, maybe we should have a madhouse. Like, we should bring back a mental asylum for the online safety experts. I mean, surely, given how bad racism is on social media, and they get exposed to it every day, like, after a year, you need new online experts. And the ones that previously were, they need to be placed in a mental institution because they have been subjected to so much harm. So, Elon Musk is going to grant amnesty to people, which is very similar to what the medieval king did. I said this in a previous video. Whenever you had a new king going up on the throne, he would open the dungeons, everyone gets to go free. We still don't know about Alex Jones, because Elon Musk said that people who committed spam won't be allowed back, and also people who broke the law. But when you say something like this, it leaves a lot of room to doubt. I mean, surely someone who jaywalks breaks the law, right? Is defamation something which is considered breaking the law? And if the answer is yes, what about other people who have defamed? I mean, if you defame your neighbor and you get it through a lawsuit and you lose the lawsuit, do you also lose your privilege to Twitter? Not to mention, Alex Jones wasn't banned because of defamation. In fact, I don't even know why the fuck he was banned on Twitter, because he was the first person, and this is why many people care about him. He was the first person that got banned from all the social media websites within hours. So it was a coordinated attack. It was a guinea pig for this type of testing where a person can lose its internet access. Before Alex Jones, this was unthinkable. Like, before him, you had these websites that apparently competed with each other. So Twitter competed with Facebook, which competed with YouTube, right? But then you have Alex Jones' scenario where you notice that these websites are now colluding and they are working on setting a narrative. Now, later on during the pandemic, we find out that the FBI was pressuring Facebook and Twitter in order to make decisions. We don't know if that happened with Alex Jones, but it is a ring of power. It is a possibility that someone, and this is something that the ACLU was concerned about. The ACLU was concerned that the US government can use its power in order to launder its censorship onto the private companies. I mean, you wouldn't call it a free country if back during the Cold War, the Americans would use the government in order to launder censorship on the postal office. And it will be like, well, we're not censoring anyone. It's the phone company that does it. It's the private phone company that wants to listen in on people and install microphones into every phone, and right? It would be unthinkable, but this is what's happening now. Like you have all of these social media companies that are taking marching orders from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security in order to listen in to what people talk and guide them to the correct opinions, which is unthinkable for a free society. And this is what the free speech experts are worried about. It's misinformation. Like, since when is misinformation something that people agree that it should be considered as a crime? Like, if enough people consider misinformation as a crime, then pass it into law. But only in authoritarian dictatorships and hellholes do you have this idea that misinformation needs to be persecuted. So in China, for example, if you talk about the Tiananmen massacre, the Chinese government denies it. As such, you're not allowed to talk about it because it's harmful and dangerous misinformation, according to the Chinese government. Right? The thing with harassment. It's like, you got a block button. What the fuck? Just block people. Like, are you literally that incompetent? Like, you literally need the company to hire a bunch of experts in order to do the banning for you because you don't know how to block? Like, back in the old days of the internet, there were no trust and safety council. Well, it's like, if you're literally an asshole, people would block you. And then you'd realize that you have no friends and you had to change your behavior. If people didn't block you, then, well, you weren't really an asshole now, were you? But that's the thing, you know, like, they want the power to decide who is an asshole and who isn't, regardless of what the public thinks or not. So this is the danger of these online safety experts. And of course, you know, hate speech. I really love Elon Musk's plan to tackle with hate speech. Like, you get a 3-tier system. Like, you get a Twitter that is very safe and sanitized, where the advertisers are. You then get a different level of Twitter, like a in-between, which is where you may find the porn and you may find I guess, more edgy content like violence and stuff, and then some advertisers can opt out from that. And finally, you have like the hateful Twitter, you know, where there's no ads and people can say whatever they want, but the algorithm doesn't promote it. I find that to be a very beautiful system. I find that to be a perfect utopia where people get to choose what they get to be exposed to. Of course, if you're a social engineer, if you want to manipulate society, then you don't like that system. And it's like, no, like, everyone needs to think the way I think, which is authoritarian in nature. Doesn't belong in a free country. So, I also love the fact that Elon Musk is inclusive. I mean, this is actually being inclusive. Like, everyone is welcome. Elon Musk is doing diversity, inclusion, and equity the right way. I mean, there are more people now using Twitter than before. Like, this is what's interesting, right? Because all of their inclusion policies were getting rid of people. And I love how they were threatening Elon Musk. It's like, oh, well, 1 million people left for Mastodon. Like, first of all, I haven't seen the ones that left shut down their accounts on Twitter. Like, you haven't really left if you're just using, like, another platform. But the second, let's assume that 1 million people did leave. Well, okay. I'm pretty sure more than 1 million will come back with this level of amnesty. And many of them don't want to be banned again. Like, I know people who got banned, people who came back. They're going to be more careful with their accounts. So, yeah, like, this is the smartest business decision that I have ever seen. Like, you're getting more subscribers. You're, you know, setting yourself up for a subscriber payment system where you don't have to rely on advertisers. And everyone is happy. Like, Twitter is more of a fun platform. And also, take into account that the advertisers who leave are usually the big brands. You know, like Pfizer. Like, why does Pfizer need to advertise? Like, Pfizer can just persuade your government to buy their product so you don't have to buy it. You know, they spend millions, sometimes more, on Pfizer products. And they use your taxpayer money to buy them. Like, why do I need to get a Pfizer ad? What's the purpose? It's like, I don't get to choose anyway. So, these companies are the ones that are leaving Twitter. Meanwhile, the mom and pop stores, like the little Joe, the little company, they're still going to advertise. So, you're also going to have the business transactions. And more interestingly enough is that he filed the paperwork to make Twitter a payment processor. I mean, that's fucking brilliant. Take into account Elon Musk helped create PayPal. I assume he knows what he is doing. So more competition for PayPal. Amazing. And even if you don't use Twitter, even if you don't use it, if it actually creates competition to Facebook and YouTube, holy shit, these other platforms, like if you do use the other ones, are going to have to step up their game. Because now, like, if you're going to ban people and they have another place to go, well, you're not really outcasting them, are you? Right? Like, the whole purpose of exile is to have no place to go. And make exile a scary thing. But, like, if exile is like, oh, well, you know, you banned me here, I'll just post over there, they lose a lot of their power. Take into account Patreon lost their balls recently. Did you notice that? Like, Patreon used to swing its big dick around the internet and be like, oh no, you're going to do how we tell you to do, and we get to control how the bloggers think. And then Subscribestar comes along, and all of a sudden PayPal and all of a sudden Patreon not a peep. I haven't heard anyone getting bullied by Patreon recently. Why? Because there's competition. Let me know what you guys think though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.